2, 1. We are live, episode 10. Hello,
Yay.
Michael.
Finally.
It's been far too long.
Yeah.
How are you? Are you good?
Shirt in the picture.
Yeah. What shirt are you wearing, sir?
And I'm going to talk about it in a little bit, but it's Crack the Sky.
Who are they?
They're a band.
You don't
They're
say.
a really, really good band.
What kind of band are they?
What's that?
What kind of band are they, would you say?
They are considered progressive rock, actually.
Right up my alley.
Yeah, I know you sent me a band. It was an early recommendation. It was like something Scientist.
Thank you, Scientist. Yes, I sure did.
And that was kind of progressive.
Definitely.
I know you've had stuff on social media for progressive older stuff. We talked about, I think, on episode 8, if I was to guess, that we talked about the group Yes. So
yes.
We have. I kind of dig that stuff because it's epic. Sometimes they do, like the older bands when they were doing albums, they would do a whole side that was one song, and it was maybe broken down into suites. I want to make sure I say the word right.
Suites.
Don't sound like a fool. Into suites.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yeah, of course, you got it.
So, because there's the word suit and suite, it's a homophone. I just learned about homophone yesterday. But anyway, so like it's an album. One side of the album is totally dedicated to one song, and then the other side is like 4 different songs.
Yeah.
But on the other side, it's like a mini epic song. So, so I kind of dig that epic kind of stuff. Spoiler alert, I might recommend a song to you one of these days. It's over the 10-minute mark. So
that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Before you even say another word, Hometown Heroes of Mine, Periphery, mentioned them countless times.
From Bethesda, right?
Yes, actually. 2 days ago, I'm sitting on the floor watching television, and I have to get up and do the dishes. And I want to listen to some music. And
don't have to do the dishes. Just leave them stockpiled.
Relax. I'm trying to get thrown out the house. But no, I'm like, okay, I can put a song on. I don't have much to do. I'm gonna do this and go to sleep. And Periphery 4, Hail Stan, just came out from this. They dropped it maybe, I want to say, a year ago now. And the first song, Reptile, 16 minutes. And not any band can just pull off a 16-minute song. And normally you hear it one time, you're like, ooh, that was fun. But then second time around, you're like, this is a little excessive. It still feels like the first time that I've heard it. I maybe only heard it maybe about 5 times at this point since it came out. Still feels like the first time. Cannot get over it. And I recall from Periphery 1, the self-titled, the last song, 10 minutes long, I think it was called Race Car. I used to listen to that song every time I'll drop Sarah off at her house before we lived together. And I'm like, it's the perfect amount of time for me to get back to the house safely and just like enjoy a really like just anthemic, longer song. So
anthemic, I love that word. I love the word. I love the word grandiose. I love
that's
the
a great word.
Epic.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes I'm very hesitant on epic because it's a lot of people. It had a great like run in social media for such a long time. So I'm just like, I feel if I use that word too soon or in like the wrong context, I'm gonna get roasted to high heaven. And as a comedian, I'm sure you know all about that. So what do we have on the docket today?
I've never said anything. So let's do that. Let's change. The docket. So we talked a little bit about what we're going to talk about. And so first of all, let's briefly address what's going on right now.
What's going on right now? I have no idea.
Home and staying safe. What's going on right now with COVID-19? I hope everybody's well, and the only time you go out is for the essentials. And I hope people are doing the right sanitary options. But we did lose a few people in the music world.
Far too many.
We'll start out with let's do chronologically. Let's do first
Sure.
of all, Kenny Rogers passed away, and I don't think he passed away from COVID-19. I think he just.
I'm verifying that right this minute.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to verify that.
Okay.
It was natural causes.
We're doing this live.
Listen, we got to double check. We got to double check.
Kenny
We don't want to put any false
Rogers,
information about that.
One of the big things because you gave me the okay. This is kind of a sneak peek into another topic we're going to be talking about, Access TV. And they're probably
whoa. You want to do that now?
Helping out promoting their channel.
You want to do that now? Let's do it a little later.
Dan, you know the legendary newsman Dan Rather, correct?
Maybe I've heard his name once or twice. Sure, yeah.
So he does a show called The Big Interview. Now my TV can't.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this. Okay, go on.
The Big Interview. My TV can't handle that long of a title, so it makes it look like it says The Big Interview with Dan Rat, D-R-A-T. So I guess Mickey Mouse is his friend. I don't know. That's a joke. But anyway, if that went over your head, you just let me know. But I'm looking, actually, I can't see you. So anyway. I see you. No, anyway, so he interviewed before he passed away, obviously. He interviewed Kenny Rogers, and I started watching the episode. I just want to say that it's a good episode. And sorry, I had a distraction. So he interviewed Kenny Rogers, and I didn't watch all the episode, but what I watched was pretty good. I liked it.
Great.
What Kenny Rogers, to me, seems like he's really known. What he was really known for was duets. Now he did "Islands in the Stream," which I believe was originally written by the Bee Gees.
The
disco group. That's a different subject, but before they had a different sound before they became disco. But anyway, he did that. Kenny Rogers did that with Dolly Parton, "Islands in the Stream." He also did one with Lionel Richie.
I heard about that actually. When I read about him passing away, I saw it because Dolly Parton, she released a public statement, and because I was at work, very bored, and I went on to music.com and I checked their news, and they spoke about his long expansive career, and that they had a good relationship with one another, Richie and Rogers. And I had no idea, because I see a name like that and I just associate him to like just country music and those sort of things, and not necessarily how crossover his career was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was I guess flexible.
100%. You have to in order to make money these days.
So rest in peace, Kenny Rogers. And we also lost the second person chronologically was Adam Schlesinger, and I had to remind you who he was.
I didn't recognize his last name.
What's that?
I didn't recognize his last name, and I saw and once.
But someone told me recently that actually is kind of a popular last name.
I don't know where it's popular at, actually. To my memory, I'm only 27, so like I haven't really seen a lot of people in the public eye with that name, not in school, not at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I do know what you mean. So catch me at a different time. But anyway, let's talk about him. He was part of the group Fountains of Wayne. Yeah. And he also, and I should look this up, but I think I can do this from memory. He wrote lyrics for some of the songs from the Monkees' latest CD.
Latest?
And I don't know if it's the latest. I don't know if they've done anything since that one. But when they decided to make a comeback, he wrote some lyrics. Also, Rivers Cuomo, the lead singer of Weezer, was part of that project, and I don't remember who else. But I could look it up, but I'm not.
Okay.
I have two things which are in later subjects that I have that I know I'm going to
Okay.
read to you. But yeah, Adam Schlesinger wrote some lyrics for that, but he was part of the band Fountains of Wayne. But rest in peace. Do you have anything to say about Adam Schlesinger?
I have three things to say. First of
Okay.
all, you were correct about him writing music for the Monkees recently. According to a quick Google and according to one of my favorite sites, your least favorite, Wikipedia, the album came out 4 years ago, right? And he indeed was one of the
The
co-writers.
Monkey album.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, I may have to check that out because they're a band that most music nerds know, but don't necessarily respect the ways that they should. So I'm gonna give that another look. Second thing,
Who else was part of wrote lyrics?
no one that I really know off the top of my head that
I thought there was another big name. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Second thing was that Adam Schlesinger, he wrote that. Have you ever seen the movie That Thing You Do with Tom Hanks?
No, can't say I have.
Well, I gotta tell you, it's one of the most significant music films to me, so I highly recommend it. He wrote the song from that. It's probably one of like the best. I can see why he wrote songs for the Monkees, considering the fact that he wrote That Thing You Do, because it's very much in that Beach Boys, Beatles shtick, which is relevant to one of our special guests. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Okay.
Third thing, I love this pop punk band called Motion City Soundtrack, and he helped produce one of their albums. And I never would have made that connection because most people, they think of Fountains of Wayne as like that one hit wonder and go about their day. But
Stacy's mom.
yeah, of course. And what was so sad about hearing about Mr. Schlesinger's death is that morning I was singing Stacy's Mom. I don't know why it was in my head, but it appeared, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a really big earworm song, you know? So, and then how about like the Bowling for Soup cover, and then, just went about my business. But then I heard about like the awful news that he had passed through the complications brought about by COVID-19 and died in his 50s. He was a young man, he probably had so much that he was going to do for others with like his great writing skills. So it's so unfortunate that like he was put into that position, and I hope that he and his family and friends are hopefully just looking back on all the great things he's done and how he'll stay alive through the songs that he's written for other people. So that's all I have to say about that.
The Tom Hanks movie was Julia Roberts in that?
I don't think so, but I'd have to I don't recall there being like a famous lady lead in that film that was on Tom Hanks' level of
There's a movie with Tom Hanks. Wasn't there? Oh, I'm thinking of Larry Crown. Never mind.
Okay.
No, I never saw that movie. I saw Larry Crown, but anyway. All right. So the third person was Bill Withers, famous for Lean on Me and Ain't No Sunshine. Now,
Lovely Day too. Yeah.
I will say, and he actually passed away, heart issues, so nothing with COVID-19. But Bill Withers, here's what I have to say about it. I read somewhere. It was on a newspaper on the front page, and it mentioned those two songs. To be fair, those are the only two songs I know from Mr. Withers.
No.
And you and I have talked about Club Nouveau did a cover of Lean on Me, and I know you do not like that song.
Yeah, that version's awful.
Yeah, my brother thinks that too. But anyway, I'm a bigger fan of Ain't No Sunshine, and I found that my brother was helping me out with this. I told him, you might remember, because I've told my brother this before. This was yesterday, I think. I said, Daniel, I first found out about this song through a video game commercial, and
Oh,
this was, I don't know, 10 years ago.
wow.
And he said, yeah, it was probably, I think now I can't remember. I think my brother said it was Call of Duty.
Wow.
And so it was a very dark game. Um, but that's how I know about it, and I like that song a lot. I know he goes, I know. I don't know how he didn't pass out from continuing that, but anyway, that's unfortunately that's all I know from Bill Withers. I know he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and that was cool to see. I think Stevie Wonder performed "Ain't No Sunshine" there at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so that was kind of cool. But what are your thoughts on Bill Withers?
Unless I'm mistaken, the video game that you might be referring to is Dante's Inferno. So there's that. I only want to say one thing about Bill Withers that I read about on Twitter that may not be true, but I heard that once Ain't No Sunshine became like a worldwide hit, he took all the royalties from that one song and like really didn't do anything for like the next 30 years and just like relaxed with his family and enjoyed the success. I hope that's the case because that's such a baller move, like too many times we see people we love in the music industry just fall into like the politics of what like happens to very successful people that are like manipulated by said industry. But Bill said, hey, the one song worked out and I'm just gonna take the money and run. And I can only encourage those who are popping right now to do the same thing if you feel uncomfortable or irritated by like the rules and like regulations of like this like just very like chaotic realm that is the music industry. So that's all I have to say about that. I have grown up hearing Bill's songs all over the place. It's so cool that he will always be significant no matter what. We will someday, you and Michael, you and I someday will pass on to the next life. But if humanity is still around 100 years from now, they will still be listening to Bill Withers because that's how good of a singer-songwriter he was. And that's all I have to say about that. Rest in power, Bill.
Yeah, rest in peace. I think I've heard clips of other songs, but rest in peace, Bill Withers. What else is on the docket? I think we should.
We got a lot going on.
Yeah, I think we should do it, but let me pull up the docket. The docket. We are gonna talk about Mad Catrness.
That's the meat of the show today.
That's the meat of that's the middle of the episode. I think we should do it. I really do.
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you before we go any further. Let me tell you, I have a window into the other room, and I don't think he is there. So maybe you want to shoot him a message or two on your telephone about.
We have a. Can I just talk about it now?
Yeah. Of course. So let's not keep suspense.
Yeah, my dad is going to be on the episode.
I probably should mention something before you say anything else. I wasn't aware that like he would be a surprise guest. So when I wrote the title for today's episode, if people were watching live, which they are not, and they should be, they would see that it says episode 10. This is our COVIDCast, as it were, which is maybe a little too cheesy. I apologize for that in advance. It also says March Catrness round 2, and it also says featuring Father Friedman. So they would already know if people were watching, but they are not, so we're in the clear this one time.
Yeah.
So I apologize for that.
Can I just tell you this? I have
there he is.
You, my friend, do you have an IV of Monster drinks?
I will tell
IV that just pumps you with Monster drinks? Because I need that.
I will say one story about Monster, and then we can continue this convecation. In
my
lifetime,
endorse that brand, by the way.
If they want to give us some money, though, however, please do. My girlfriend wants a new couch.
You have Coffee Stream that's being pumped into your blood.
Oh, listen. Like 2018, myself and two friends, we went to 3 friends. We went to the Vans Warped Tour, right? And the only thing I ate that morning was ramen noodles. Didn't have lunch. I was just drinking water the whole show. This is like a 12-hour festival going on, right? I didn't really have a budget for like merch or like buying CDs or food.
4-hour concerts.
Yeah, 12 hours, like noon to midnight, right? And so, or noon to 10 p.m. One of those things, right? I'm very hungry. I'm very hydrated, starving, right? Very tired, going into the mosh pit. You know, like I'm dancing, I'm jumping around. I'm just at the end of my rope, and I see that Monster is sponsoring the concert, and they have like this giant truck that's converted into a bar. And we go there to like, because they have air conditioning, so I'm having a seat. And one of like the Monster employees, she's like, "Yo, you want a Monster?" And I'm like, "I would, but I can't afford it." And she's like, "They're free." And I'm like, "What you mean they free?" And she put one in my hand. It's like, literally, they're free. Thank you for coming to the show. And so I drink it.
You did a Gary Coleman reference.
No, and it's just like, once I drank this beverage, I'm like, I have the strength to carry 15 men on my back on one leg.
Yeah.
Everything is perfect. But once the energy went away, I was very, very sleepy. Very, very sleepy. I think we skipped the last band that night just so we could get dinner and go home early. I was trashed. Like, and I don't drink or nothing. I was just like, wow, like this was a great
last a minute at a Bruce Springsteen concert.
Oh, well, hopefully when this is all over, maybe I'll see for myself. Let's get to our special guest. Let's bring
near your area, New Jersey, sort of.
I'm in the tri-state area. You know the vibes. I guess you are too, technically.
Let's talk about our guest. So the guest is my
great intro.
What?
The best intro possible.
The best intro. That's going to feed his ego more. Now, my dad was already in here. He was down here, down where I am recording, and he had to do his fatherly advice and give me a piece of paper where he wrote, "We can't see your face." That's because I was looking at other tabs. And
I was going to say that. I'm like, why do I want to see his hair? Like, where's man's face? I'm like, I'll let him have this, but
that's why he was down here. And that's why I was a little distracted, because he was giving me advice, because
I knew I heard the door.
He's my father, and he has to do that. So, but he is a wonderful man, and he and the rest of my family passed down their music. He and my mom passed down their music, and he's going to be on here. I don't know where he is.
I'll find him
in the room.
Give me a second. We have to squeeze a few things. Give me just a second. Yeah, there he is.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Was that the best intro?
That was a pretty good intro. Yeah, yeah. And I have to show my shirt too.
Look at the swag. Look at the drip on Pops, man. Like he's putting on for the team.
I don't call him Pops at all.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Bill. First of all, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I forgot to do our intro.
It's fine. Yo, it's episode 10. If they don't know who we are by now, like they're better off just like look. If you don't know who I am now, like we'll go to the old episodes, bro. Like, okay, quick TDLDR.
Say the thing I say every intro, that we are two.
Here we go. Go ahead, do the spiel. Go on.
Sorry, Dad. I have to put you on hold. Talk to the hand. No, we are graduates of the Broadcasting Institute of Maryland.
Go BIM.
Go BIM.
If it is to be, it's up to me. Okay, are you done?
Yes, I'm done ranting.
Okay.
And that's the shortest rant ever, which is kind of ironic because rant is not short. So my dad is on the episode. Now, my dad has a connection with Crack the Sky. And I thought we'd talk a little bit about Crack the Sky. We're promoting Crack the Sky. First of all, and my dad, one of the things, though, my dad does want to talk about, seriously, is about concerts that he has seen in his past. And that might include Crack the Sky, but I want to talk about Crack the Sky. So Crack the Sky officially is from Steubenville, Ohio. I was telling you this, Chris, before the episode, that Crack the Sky, and my dad said that they are basically Baltimore natives now. They Baltimore welcomed them into their arms. Well, let's see. No, actually, let me correct that. I got their biography up on iTunes. They are
Mhm.
from, I thought it was Steubenville. They are from, it says West Virginia. Seriously, it says origin. And the
Mhm.
town is called Weirton, Weirton, West Virginia. I think Crack the Sky, the people at iTunes are just messing with us. They keep moving them to different places from where they were, their origin is. But they're from Weirton, West Virginia, and in the 70s, the year it says on iTunes, the year's active 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, and 2010s, and they are still their age is just a number. If I'm going to rant about that, I will. Age is
Okay.
just a number. Just because the doctor tells you you're 90 years old, you can do whatever the heck you want. And these guys are old, but they can
Wow.
rock. They can rock. But they were popular in the 70s, and Baltimore radio stations were really playing them a lot. And they are a progressive
Mhm.
band, and they got a lot of love from the DJs in Baltimore. But the last thing I'm going to say, well, actually, there's two things. First of all, their very first album, which is their self-titled CD,
Yeah.
was that my dad knows this too. Their on iTunes it says the self-titled debut LP was issued that year to critical acclaim. And I don't have this article up, but if you go to Rolling Stone's website, the
Mhm.
magazine, they actually declared it their album of the year. And that was, what year did I say?
Mhm.
That
19,
was
1975.
That's
okay.
significant. Wow.
And but it says, but the problems with distribution made it difficult for fans to find the album, and record sales were minimal. The band carried on undeterred, completing second album Animal Notes in '76, but it doesn't say anything. It used to say something on this biography about the Rolling Stone thing, and I swear to you, if you go on, if you look on Google, there was an article that Rolling Stone released about 5 years ago, and it said that they listed Crack the Sky as one of their favorite progressive groups of all time, which is high praise. And the last thing I swear that I'm going to say about Crack the Sky, I haven't, believe it or not, me being a music person, I haven't seen a whole lot of concerts in my lifetime, but I've seen Crack the Sky, I think 3 different times. And
Wow.
they are like 3 of my favorite concerts of all the concerts I've seen. They, every time I've seen them, at one time it was acoustic set, and but every time they've blown me away. There's one other time that I went to a different concert where it was one of my favorite concerts, but the other 3 are Crack the Sky. So I'm done talking about Crack the Sky. What do you want to say, Dad, about Crack the Sky?
You
So,
have the floor.
well, thank you very much, guys, and again, thanks for having me. So, yeah, Michael is definitely a chip off the block in terms of music. A lot of the things that he has done in terms of recording all of his compilation CDs and just being into music and appreciating the music history and an eclectic mix of different kinds of music, that was and still is to a certain extent. That was me. I was making, before CDs, I was making compilation cassette tapes
Nice.
constantly. So I was fully imbibed in the music scene from the mid-late 60s. I grew up listening to Motown and listening to a lot of pop music in the 60s. And
Which
then
is called by Craft the Sky, pop music.
well, no, I don't know about that, but so in 1975, when Crack the Sky came out, and yes, Michael, you were right. They're actually their album was tagged in 1975 by Rolling Stone magazine to be the best new group album of the year. And
you're not going to see my face because I'm going to look this up for you, but keep talking.
Okay, so there was a radio station in Baltimore at the time, WKTK FM.
Right.
And they started playing the Crack the Sky album, the first one. And for all of you who will ultimately look at this podcast, I would strongly urge you to go out, if you like any kind of progressive music, go out and listen to, download, however you want to do it, buy that first album. So the very first time they were coming around to the Baltimore area, there was a little bar out in Jarrettsville. It was at the corner of on Jarrettsville Pike. Yeah. And my wife and I were dating. Well, no, actually, we were married at that time. So we were fully into Crack the Sky. And so we got in our car, drove out that night to find this bar that we had no clue where it was. And of course, that was pre-GPS. So
right. Yeah. You had to pull up that map.
Yeah. So we ended up driving right past the bar, ended up in Pennsylvania, turned around, came back.
Oh, I was going to bring up the New Jersey story.
Well, so we missed the first maybe 5 or 10 minutes of the show or whatever, and there were probably 100 people in this bar.
Okay,
and that was the first experience with Crack the Sky. So from 1975 on, more or less every time they came into the area, and they became so popular in the metro, the Baltimore, Washington metro region, that they ultimately started doing really big arenas. They were doing places like the Capitol Center and places like
Painter's
that
Mill.
size, 10, 15,000.
They did Painter's Mill.
What's that?
Painter's Mill was a big one, right?
It wasn't that big, but in any event, they were popular enough. I mean, they really did. I remember one time we saw them, and they referred to Baltimore as their true home because we were their number one fans.
Oh,
so and it was great. So I don't know. We probably have seen them honestly over the years 50, 60 times. I
found an article from Rolling Stone. It was, I don't know when it was written, but the title is "Crack the Sky: The Strange Survival Story of the Best U.S. Prog Band You've Never Heard."
Right. Well,
hey, hold on. Here's a Beatles reference. It says they wowed critics and toured with Frank Zappa, who was also from Baltimore, but never quite broke through. How, and this is in quotes, the Beatles of Baltimore are getting a second chance more than 40 years after their acclaimed debut.
Well, and the beauty of Crack the Sky is that they've never gone away. In fact, they've been recording studio albums very consistently through that whole 45-year period. The one that came out last year is excellent. It's just really good stuff. If some of the progressive rock stations around the country were to listen and become acquainted, familiar with their music, they would do real well. But it's kind of a paradox in that those of us from that Baltimore area, we sort of take pride in calling them our own. And then the other piece of that paradox is just think if everybody knew about them, they would just be one of the best bands out there. So it's like, do we want to keep them to ourselves, or do we want them to really become really well known?
I just like the coincidence. I forgot that they called them the Beatles of Baltimore, but you didn't really know that, did you?
Yes.
Right. See? But that's not the reason you wore the shirt. You just wore the shirt, and that's really funny that I'm wearing the Crack the Sky shirt. You're wearing a Beatles shirt, and they're called the Beatles of Crack. So anyway, they're what they do. How often do you think per year, Dad, that they do a Maryland venue?
They do at least 1 to 2 times a year. They're generally speaking, they play Ram's Head in Annapolis right around November every year. And Chris, definitely, if you get a chance, you do want to check them out.
100%.
And they also will, from time to time, do like Pier 6, or, one of those kind of places.
I've been there once, yeah.
But they're all they're excellent musicians. John Palumbo.
I like a few of their studio tracks, but I'm not a big fan of their albums. But I love them live. They're a great band live.
Well, John Palumbo is the main songwriter.
Yeah,
they have an interesting way that they do their songs. He basically keeps a notebook with him all the time, and he's constantly jotting down lyrics and things. And so basically, he'll put together the basic format of the lyrics and the kind of the tone of the song, if you will. And then he turns them over to Rick Witkowski, who is the lead guitarist.
Bomb. Rick Witkowski's the bomb.
Yeah, and so Rick Witkowski does what he calls turning it into a Crack the Sky song. Crack the Sky, one of their identifying hallmarks is that they change in the
signatures.
What?
Time signatures, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Through the course of a song, they'll change the rhythm of the song 3 or 4 times. Very much akin to, if anybody's familiar with Led Zeppelin music, it's kind of along, and also Beatle music. Beatles.
They're the Beatles of Baltimore.
So I do want to say that as much as I love Crack the Sky, the reason I'm wearing my Beatles garb is because when you talk about music, for me, it all starts from the Beatles and goes from there. So,
would you say like your first big would you say like they were like your first favorite when you think about that?
Who, the Beatles?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even before the Beatles, though, like I said, I listened to a lot of Motown. I grew up with with Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and Diana Ross and the Supremes, and Stevie Wonder, and Marvin Gaye, and and the Four Tops, and just all of those. So I listened to the Beatles more because they would play their #1 singles on the radio, and I would, and I always liked them. Funny story here. Okay, so here's my exposure to the Beatles was that the first time they appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, 1964, and we had typically. So in 1964, I was 11 years old, so I was in the 6th grade, I guess it was. And we had our bedtime was 8:30 every night on a school night, no matter what. Ed Sullivan was on from 8 to 9, so meaning that the second half of the show, generally, we could not watch. Well, when the Beatles came on, we got a pass. We got a hall pass. We were allowed to stay up and watch the whole thing. Well, as it turned out, at the time, I had the measles. And and Chris, immediately you'll appreciate this, in that the old wives' tale was that if you got too much light in your eyes when you had the measles would actually go into your eyes. So sunglasses similar to the ones you're wearing. There are sunglasses on to keep. So and it was it was on a black and white TV, and I'm looking at
them. You have a love affair with Chris.
So I kind of got to see them in color, if you will. And
I get it. Yeah. Okay.
Because I had the sunglasses on. Yeah.
That's so funny. Wow.
But how
did you see him in color? You saw him in through. How was you?
The glasses,
you were wearing
it's for the sunglasses. It was not totally black and white. It was just little tinted.
So it's a special sunglasses that the doctors gave you?
No, they were just a pair of sunglasses that had been laying around the house or whatever. Yeah, and so that was my first full exposure to the Beatles.
Okay.
And but when I started getting into buying my own albums in the late '60s, that's when I really got into buying their albums and really appreciating the how amazing they were in their songwriting abilities, and everything was different from everything else. And so after that, it was no turning back. But so anyway, but Crack the Sky has, and the Beatles obviously were a big influence on Crack the Sky
Yeah.
So, but when my wife and I started dating in the early '70s, where a lot of people were going out and to the movie theaters and looking at movies and going out to dinner, whatever. In our cases, we were going to concerts. We went to concerts all the time, everywhere. We saw bands in big, huge open air arenas. We saw them in smaller theaters. We saw Badfinger in a high school gymnasium.
Wow.
And that was that. And I tell Michael this all the time, that I don't have many regrets in my life. One of the few that I have is that I didn't keep ticket stubs from all the concerts that we went to, because
I see what you mean. Yeah.
it was crazy. And so we have a lot of memories from
so cool, for real.
So one of the things I wanted to say is, so my dad, as he's kind of started out with that, he said that that whatever the expression is, he's the one that makes up expressions, but that's an inside joke that can be explained later. Anyway, he said the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and that he thinks that that I acquired my music taste from him. I mean, both of my mom and my mom is a Beatle fan too, so my parents passed down the music. But he like he said before, he used to make compilation CDs, and I've made compilation CDs. I think it's a little muddled in my head, but I think when I started making it was when I was in BIM. I actually went. You probably don't know this, Chris. I went to BIM twice. I took.
Yeah, me too.
Part of. Did you take? Were you doing the Grow program?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I can't remember. I think it's the first year though. I went to BIM. That's when I started making compilation CDs, and honestly, I think that's when I really. And that wasn't too long ago. That was 2007 when I first went to BIM. That's honestly, I believe, is when I really started getting into music. And I don't know how old I was, but I had a lot of years in my life at that point, and I can't believe I really didn't appreciate music. I think until I started going to BIM. But like I said, it's been a little muddled. But I wanted to bring my dad back into this conversation because he has this story about maybe there's not much to this story, but he used to host parties and he would play these compilation tapes that he made, cassette tapes. And he went to this, he would go to this defunct Maryland record store. The last one actually closed like 2 years ago. Record and Tape Traders. Did you ever go there, Chris?
No. If it's in Baltimore City, I probably never went. I'm not gonna front.
Okay, there was one in Towson, there was one in Glen Burnie, and there was one in Annapolis.
There was one in Reisterstown also.
Okay. If anything, I probably may have seen the one in Towson, but just maybe.
The one in Towson closed was the last one. Wasn't there one in Delaware too, Dad?
Don't know about that. I don't know. I just knew about the four in Maryland because I would, if I was in those areas, any of those four areas, that would be part of my a destination to make sure that I stopped at one of those record and tape traders. And nice. The beauty, well, and record and tape traders was great because at the time you could go there and even new release albums, you could rent them for $1 per day. And so I had a good high end cassette tape recorder at the time, 2-headed tape recorder playback and a recorder.
I mean, would they allow you to do this?
Well, I wasn't selling them. It was only for my own benefit. So yeah, it was fine. I mean, everybody was recording cassettes back then. So my friend Marty and I would go to record and tape traders, and between the two of us, we might rent 10 albums at a time, and we'd come home and we had our 90-minute cassettes, and we'd have 45 minutes for one album on one side and 45 minutes for the other album on the other side. And then we would take we would trade up. He would, I'd record half, he would record the other half, and then we switch up and finish them up, and then the next day go back and take them back and run another bunch. So it was a great way to do that. But Michael was talking about the Funky Town. So I worked at General Electric.
No, I didn't bring it up, but
I'll real quick, I'll tell the story. So again, I was making all these compilation tapes, and I was making them to be pertinent to whatever purpose I needed them to be. And I was working at General Electric at the time. I was engineering at the time. And we had a group of about 15 people that we would party at all the appropriate points in the year. We'd have our Halloween parties and our St. Patrick's Day parties and so forth. And we would rotate around to different members of this group for them to host the party. And for the first several years, I would do the Halloween party. So I wanted to do a mixtape, compilation tape of kind of danceable music. And at the time, it was sort of the late stages of it's actually, I guess, was right in the disco era. And so I put together a compilation tape that included the Funky Town song because it had a great music. So our dance that we created, well, at the time we lived in this old Cape Cod house, and the Cape Cod house, literally one room connected to the other room, which connected to another room, which connected to another room, and it was like a big circle. And so we formed late into the party evening. We formed a chain gang line, put on Funky Town, and we danced around that circle in a chain gang line. Exactly, yeah. For the.
Oh, hold on! I can't see his face. I'm looking at our docket. What's that look for?
What is what? No, Chris has got it with the one.
Yeah, he did see it because he had he was looking at up the notes. Good. He'll see it at the playback.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
So that was that thing. Real quick, guys, before I go, just wanted to share a couple. And by the way, Chris, I wanted to ask you. Obviously, I know Michael's background.
Yeah.
So who was your early influence, and what caused you to get into music?
Stevie Wonder, I can say that.
Well, I did have a cute Stevie Wonder story to share, but I'll save that for later. I want to say that, because my mother always sang, and I guess she just convinced my father to join her. They sang in our local church at the time when I was in elementary school, and both myself and my sister, we took chamber singers classes in high school, and I didn't really seek it out personally until about maybe 6th grade because I wanted to get in with the cool kids, and I'm like, oh, what do they like? They like popular songs. I'm gonna listen to every top 40 song I can get my hands on. But I changed schools, and I went from a public school to a private religious school. So I got heavy into religious music. But then 9th grade came along, I'm getting older. I'm like, yo, all my upperclassmen, they're so much cooler than I am. How I want to be into what they're into, and they were into that more of that heavier Christian stuff. So I started getting to those a lot of Christian medical bands, and then I'm like, oh, who are they going on tour with? I want to go to a concert someday, and it just kind of snowballed from there. But I don't think I really had a personal relationship with the Beatles until I went from that private religious school back to the public sphere, and I picked up Rubber Soul, and oh my goodness, and just where I was emotionally really resonated with the lyrics. And I remember turning off the album because I'm I didn't like how on the nose the song made me feel with what I was going through. So I'm like, nope, I'm done. Can't do this anymore. And I didn't pick up another Beatles album until I want to say about mid 2010s. My stoner friend, he's like, bro, you got to listen to Abbey Road. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he put on She's So Heavy. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of fire. Wow. Because I read somewhere that Paul, he had read he had looked at the Pet Sounds and he was mad. He's like, oh my goodness, these Beach Boys, they're gonna take the crown. I'm not having that. No way. And I'm like, what does he mean? I never heard Pet Sounds either. He's like, mm-mm. He gave me a copy, and so I listened to it, and I'm like, this is really, really good. And I was just like, I can't believe that, like, you hear about the Beach Boys, you know, all like the big cuts like Surfing USA and like Little Surfer Girl, but like to this day, like I'll be going to work or whatever, and I'll listen to "Wouldn't It Be Nice." I want to cry. Like it's like such a good song.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about how wow, oh my goodness, I just lost my train of thought. But to answer your question, just like the first, like I would say that it's kind of like a deep cut, but for me, like my first big like artist that like set a tone for me was like Fred Hammond from like the gospel genre. And like not only were the songs good, he kind of looks like my dad. So like, I'm like, oh, is he like your twin or something? And he's like, no, we're not related. But I'm like, he looks just like you. And like he would sing the song. I'm like, oh, like you sound just like him. Are you sure you're not Fred Hammond? Like, I'm not Fred Hammond. And it never came up again until I was in middle school, still going to public school, and he picked me up for like a half day or something. I was in gym class, and he like stepped into the gymnasium, like, oh, I'm here, let's go. And like the next day, I think it was my classmate Sanjay Kapoor. Hi, Sanjay. He was like, "Is your dad Uncle Phil?" I'm like, "From the Fresh Prince?" No. And I'm like, wow, like I'm just gonna keep that to myself because that was kind of like wild. I'm like, bro, no. That's not at all the case. But yo, shout out to Pops. My brief Stevie Wonder story I want to share while you're still here with us. With like the pandemic going on, a lot of musicians, they're not going on tour. They're going on Instagram, on social media, and just like doing live concerts and whatever. And a lot of
you're going with this, but keep going.
Good. We'll keep that going. A lot of DJs are like doing live sets, long sets. And Questlove from the Roots, he's also a DJ, the drummer from the band, and he's very like he's well connected with like famous people.
Questlove Johnson.
Yeah, for those who don't know who Questlove is and stuff.
Well, Questlove being your fellow Philadelphian there too.
Exactly.
The Roots.
And so like he's doing a live DJ set on Instagram, and he's starting to play like a brief like Stevie Wonder like back-to-back Stevie Wonder sesh. And you know, he's cutting up, and someone hands him his phone. So he turns the sound on, he's like, "Hello, Stevie?" And he just like puts him on speaker, like, "You're on live right now." He's like, "Hey, I just called to say I love you." And he's like, and he's just like, yo, like, I'm probably going to do something similar in the next few weeks. Like, when you're done with the set, give me a call. We'll talk. And he's just like, I can call you? And he's like, yeah, call me back when you're done. And he's like, okay, I will. And like, he hands his phone back, and like his family member is there. And he's just like, yo, like, he just called my phone. How did he get my phone number? And I'm just like, only Stevie Wonder would do this kind of thing. Like, he's on Instagram Live, and he's like, oh, he's playing my songs? Man, give me that man's number, bro. Like, I'm gonna call this guy real quick. That's it.
Hey, Stevie can track down anybody, man.
Honestly, talk about well connected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, now Stevie has the Roots with Questlove. Questlove.
Oh wow, boo, nope. Keep
right over your
for the live set.
That actually skimmed the top off my hat here, man.
You don't have any hair.
Relax.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Rock it
I used to have Michael's hair back in the day.
I believe
it was actually.
I stole your hair.
It was halfway down my back.
Well, another thing I wanted.
Oh, we got a long cut. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Another thing I want to mention with my dad here is. So my dad likes, like I've mentioned this radio station, and I don't have any guilt trips anymore with mentioning this radio station, but I grew up listening to 99.1 HFS, and 99.1 played alternative music. Now, my dad grew up on classic rock, and he grew up with the Beatles. The Beatles, I don't think, that's a different subject, but the Beatles, I don't think of as classic rock. But anyway, he grew up with the Stones, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin. Did I say the Who? He grew up in all the classic Bad Company, and so he, but he starts listening to the alternative station 99.1 that plays Pearl Jam, Rolling Stones, Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains,
The grunge stuff.
Seven
Yeah.
Mary Three. That's a rare reference, but anyway, and so he's listening to all this, and some of these bands have the White Stripes, But anyway, some of these bands have some. I'm going to use the word roots in that kind of classic rock sound. Some of them do, like Alice in Chains. Sometimes I see Black Sabbath mentioned with the name Alice in Chains. So
Makes sense.
and Pearl Jam sort of has that. Soundgarden also has roots in Led Zeppelin. Some of their music is compared to that. So but I kind of like the bands. So the bands that appreciate their roots, their the the musicians before their time. And so I remember, I guess my dad told me one time, he's like, I like those bands that do that kind of sound, the retro kind of sounding bands. I think he might have said that to me. But I guess I don't know how long ago I started making that a mission for like either Father's Day or Christmas, or his birthday, getting him bands that do that specialize in that kind of music, like the band that just sounds so much like Led Zeppelin, especially the lead singer sounds like Robert Plant, Greta Van Fleet, and it's almost eerie, and how much he sounds at times like Robert Plant, the lead singer. And it's not a woman. Greta Van Fleet is not a woman. It's a three-piece from Michigan, and it's eerie. But anyway,
Four. I know who they are.
Reading, and I brought it up here. There's a group called The Heavy, and we've mentioned The Heavy in I think episode 2, and your friend Ramade talked about them too in the chat
episode 4
on our broadcast. But anyway, I found the art of the album called The House That Dirt Built, and our listeners might know The Heavy from the song How You Like Me Now. My dad might remember that song from a movie called Horrible Bosses. My dad loves that movie.
I remember that film.
And that song was, I think when they started playing commercials on TV when that movie was coming out, they used that song
all the time.
On iTunes. They were having a little bit of problems. iTunes. We've talked about that in past episodes, but I finally brought it back up and it worked. And there's a description. There's an album review for The House That Dirt Built, and this is kind of exactly what I do with my dad. This describes it perfectly. It says a new group. It says it seems every year a new group appears that sounds like they thoroughly studied and regurgitated their parents' album collection. That describes it perfectly. So,
and Michael, I just wanted to state for the record here, and Chris, by the way, I did want to comment about. I'd like to hear about kind of the genesis of how different people got into music, listened to music, what influences and that kind of thing. I'm a student of history anyway. And so hearing your background with the religious music and so forth, as you well know, many folks that have come through the music industry started out singing in their choirs and singing those kinds of songs and being influenced because their parents also were in the church choirs and so forth. And so many of the professional musicians that got that was their beginning with that was their introduction to music. But as far as my background, yes, Michael, you're right. I obviously I was heavily influenced by the classic rock. But by the same token, as I mentioned earlier, I was listening to Motown way before that. I was listening as a kid, as Michael, as you know, I grew up. My parents listened to country music, so I grew up also listening to a lot of country music, which is why today I don't listen to country music.
Yo,
Different
we are not going to
genre.
get to that today. We are not going to get to that today.
Is that a touchy subject for you, Chris?
It's not that it's a touchy subject, it's that it's a complicated conversation. You know what I mean? It's like the lines between going crossover top 40 and like bro country and like outlaw country. It's we don't have another hour on the docket for just like how weird it is to be in the country in 2020. You know,
I'm not a big fan of country either. But
country is great. Country is a great genre. It always has been a great genre. It's just that Nashville decided, yo, like we have a great staple of like of artists here, but we need to make more money. And so, like, you know, in the rock world, like there's a big phenomenon known as I like to call "You Will Never Be One of Us," and like the big machines, no pun intended, in country are like, listen, like. We have a lot of great like writers and like legends in our realm, but like we need like Taylor Swift appeared and they're like, we need 30 of her.
Yeah.
And like, after she's fully gone to pop, they're like, oh my goodness, she left a gaping wound in our realm and we can't fill it up. And that's why you have so many like younger musicians in country trying to fill that void, and it's not working. And they're like, I don't care what it costs, we're gonna fill that void. And I'm like, just you have a lot of people in that realm who've been doing it for 20 plus years. Like, just put the spotlight on them. They're gonna sing, they're gonna play their instruments, it'll be fine. But they're still like in scramble mode. Yesterday I was watching I watch a lot more like YouTubers making content about the Billboard charts. And they're like, oh, like the charts finally look good for the first time in a long time. And you have more like, you see more of those like artists in that like Christian country pop realm that don't know what they're going to do yet as far as like their identity is concerned. And you have like a newer singer like Maren Morris, who came into my life via Zed, an EDM producer. And like her big song, The Middle, all over like big box stores, country radio, top 40. And I'm like, fam, this ain't no country music. But he just dropped a new single, The Bones. It's all over the charts. And I hear it and I'm like, I hear the country sensibilities, even though it has that very popular like stock trap production. But I'm like, the way she's singing, like where the lyrics are coming from, this is some country stuff.
My dad has no idea what trap music is.
Well, again, like a whole nother like bag of can of worms, but like it's just like there is a way to blend traditional country sensibilities with like a 2020 lens, but it has to come from an honest place. And like when you think about country songs, like if it's not like outlaw or just like about like specific Southern references, they're love songs, you know, like they're love songs that aren't R&B songs.
Country music is all about your truck and how you broke up with your girlfriend and you're drinking beer. I am so stereotypical. I know the stereotypical country, but I will tell you, Bim introduced me to a song called Last Dollar Fly Away by Tim McGraw. Did you hear that one?
I actually, by that point, I don't think they had it in the rotation, but I'll also piggyback on that to say that
I like that song.
You know, and like it's hard not to like Tim McGraw in the first place, but
being in the movie about the football movie. Remember that one, Dad?
Oh, Rudy?
Ravens player.
Oh, never mind.
What?
Tim McGraw.
Yeah, what I know. What about him?
About the Ravens player, the football movie with Sandra Bullock.
Oh, yeah. About Michael.
Oh.
Yeah,
Michael.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
I
he
forgot
was
he was
good
like
in
the
that.
lead.
Tim McGraw was good in that.
yeah,
Didn't
yeah. He was.
didn't realize
Yeah.
he was an actor until that film. But I will say about BIM, like, because they wanted like us to get jobs. So like, oh, if you want a job and you want to get into radio, country is where you
Yeah,
would
you had
like
to
to
have a
be.
job before you graduated.
Yeah.
No, but like I was so dead set on, oh, I'm gonna get into like the rock realm, no question. But Ben was like, okay, you might, but like consider the possibility of doing this. And like during my brief, like the first time I went there for 6 months, we visited like a country station and like got to see like their workspace, and the school station had a lot of like country songs that I wasn't familiar with.
There
So
was a
now
country station at the school.
that's what I'm saying. It's like I'll look at like all these music magazines and like trending things on Twitter and such. And I'm like, oh, I know who that is. I know where they're from. And like I can probably like I can hear like a new artist and be like, okay, I know what kind of songs they're listening to when they wrote this song, or like who like the producers will like check out this stuff when we're making things together. And like kind of like expanded my worldview a little more, which is what I think when I think about all the genres that I don't care for as much, it's like I'm probably wrong about this. And even if I don't like it now, I'm gonna forget about it and it'll appear later and I'm like, wow, like it is as good as they said that it was.
Well, you made a point a little bit ago about filling a void, and as you know, the all music genres basically are a matter of once, maybe twice, if you're lucky, every generation, someone comes along and establishes a whole new vibe, a whole new sound in any of those genres, be they country, pop, rock, or rap, or whatever that you never heard before, and that becomes the game changer. And country music, as far as that genre goes, they really haven't had that for a while. They really, essentially, they went from being full on country music from the time that I was listening to them when I was a kid into where they are more of a crossover, more popish kind of.
Yeah, Taylor Swift did that. Taylor Swift did that. Now she is a fully formed pop singer.
Yeah, and that's the way.
It is what it is.
I mean, there's a lot of those kinds of acts. That, Kelly Clarkson, same thing. She goes back and
100%,
forth.
yeah.
Miley Cyrus. So until and if, well, not if, until they actually have a game changer in that genre, it's still going to be more or less all moshed together in terms of what you hear. But listen, gentlemen, I'm going to bug out and let you guys finish up.
Thank you so much for being with us.
It's been a blast. Thanks for the invite. And
you're welcome back anytime.
I'd be great. Two universal truths in life, in the world, that brings people together that everyone can relate to.
You know that in gospel music, he's getting preachy.
No, it's fine. It's cool. Please speak your piece.
Food and music. I mean,
amen.
Food and music. We may not all listen to the same music. We may not all like the same food, but we all like to eat. And throughout history, throughout all cultures in history, there's been music. So
I hate eating.
Well, thanks again, guys, for the invite. This has been great. And
absolutely. Godspeed.
Okay.
See you later,
we'll like 10 episodes from now.
Chris, nice meeting you, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks
See
again.
You later, man.
Peace.
Wow. Okay. Goodbye.
Hear it.
He was great. He was awesome.
He's gone good. He's gone.
Yeah, you were talking smack. Listen, save it for the tournament. Let's get into the meat of the show. Like,
Catrness.
I'm so glad that like our conversation with your
ball here.
Oh my god. No, I'm so glad that like our conversation with your father like carried us through like the brunt of the show, because like there's so much to get into like amongst the three of us. So I'm saying that on the air right now. Episode 20 of the Catr podcast, we gotta have him back 100%. But let's get into the nitty-gritty, shall we? Like last episode, we had 4 songs apiece, right? And we narrowed it down to 2. Our bench has 2 winners each.
I know you're 3. I have my opinions, but I gotta find it right now.
What, you wrote them down this time?
I need to. I know who the winner is. I know
Good.
who my clear cut winner is. Well,
Oh,
it was
great.
kind of a hard decision.
Oh, that's even better. I'm so happy that was a hard decision for you this time.
There were two songs that you want to start with me?
Do you have your notes up yet? I can stall for time if you need to.
Yeah, I kind of did it last minute.
Uh,
I had something happen big, um, and uh, and
no, it's
then
fine.
and then I had to go back and re-listen to them
Yeah,
today
it's cool.
because I did it last minute. But I I'm kind of stalling. Let me hold on.
Hey,
Hold
I
on.
can start. It's all good. I can start.
I got it. I got it. It's
You're good? Okay, cool. Go ahead.
no, I don't
I'll
got
probably pull up my notes.
it. No, I have it. Kenard. That's your name.
That's
And I
me.
don't
Yeah.
think my dad knows that your name is Kenard, but
You
that's
saw it on
okay.
screen. It's fine.
He
It's my
thinks
middle
your
name.
name is Chris, and
It is my name.
It says on your birth certificate.
Man,
I am stalling, so
you want me to go? Because I got you.
okay. Let me just say this: my
Okay.
3 songs that I recommended you, and I actually ended up texting you a few days later because I gave you the wrong version. It
No, that's
is
fine.
a song by. I gave you 3 songs.
Yes, you did.
Oh, you haven't explained the rules. You got to for the listeners,
Okay.
the new listeners. Explain Mad Catrness.
Okay. And here's what I'll. Oh, I actually today I added an additional rule. So let's get into it.
Okay.
The Catrness bracket. When me and Michael we sat down together, we had a conversation over the phone, and it's like March Madness hadn't been canceled by the pandemic yet, and it's like
Oh,
we
yeah.
need to like do something relevant to the times, and that's like a sort of like tournament instead of for basketball for music. And I had 4 songs, Michael had 4 songs. We gave them to each other. So I had all of Michael's songs, he had all of mine, and he picked 2 songs that he liked better than the other. And I did the same. And I put the songs that I liked by Michael onto my bench, if you will. And then the other 2 songs lost the tournament. And so now we're in round 2. And we went from 4 songs apiece to 3 apiece. We had, instead of 4, we have 3 now. And instead of picking 2 songs, we only pick 1. And then at the end of this round, we'll have 3 songs that we liked from one another. And for the final round of March Catrness, now I guess April Catrness, like I'm gonna pass these songs to our assistant coach. But I didn't pick a coach yet. So I was gonna suggest it earlier, but I forgot. And I've been talking to my siblings about the show, and I'm like, yo, like brother and sister, I'm gonna send you some songs.
That's how
Please
you address them?
Huh? What did you say?
Yeah, I said that's how you address your brother and sister.
Yeah, totally. No, but I didn't want to put them out there like that. They didn't want me to. I reached out and I'm like, yo, like, I'm gonna send y'all some music. Pick the song you like the most. But I'm thinking, if I'm gonna have 2 assistant coaches, that means you need 2 assistant coaches. So I'm thinking maybe you can send your 3 songs to your pops and your brother or your mom, whoever you want.
I was hoping my pops would. Why do you have me calling him pops? I was going to have him on the episode, still on the episode when we were talking about this, because I was going to designate him. But now that you
throw him afterwards. It's fine. Yeah, it's cool. Just like pick an additional person. Pick an additional person, like your brother. I do want him to participate as well.
On the fly, do I have to decide now?
No. We like you said earlier today. We haven't even decided when we'll record episode 11. So just pick 2 people. It can be anybody you want. I just want we just need like a third. Like we need like a third party to like help us pick who our final contestants will be. Because in round 3, the final round, like they're gonna pick the song from me they like the most, and my people are going to pick the song they like from you the most, and we're going to give each other the songs back, and we will debate on which song deserves to win the tournament, because there has to be a winner and there has to be a loser, and that will be the meat
about this until now.
Yeah,
great to do this here live instead. Are we going to go back and regurgitate the songs that we picked in the beginning? Like how I gave you,
because by the
everyone's a winner. Billy
No, no,
Preston,
no,
and I
no.
gave you a Terrence Trent D'Arby song. Are you going to tell them all? No. Okay.
No. All that matters is just that one final song that we give back to one another.
All
We're
right.
gonna
If you want to
make.
figure out the songs that I gave him in the past, check out our past episodes.
It'll be in the notes when the time comes. But we are approaching the 1 hour and 15-minute mark. Boop, there it is. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Which songs did you pick from round 2? And which songs are there in round 2?
All that time stalled. I did bring them up, except I can't read some of the. I'm going back in our. Let's see. So there's one. I'll just tell you the song I picked.
No, hold on. I know it's in here somewhere. Where'd I leave it? Scroll down. Oh, that's why I'm in the wrong document myself. I forgot that I put all the recommendations in a separate document. So I need to scroll back.
Yeah.
Do.
I have.
Will you say one more word?
Called Mouse on the Keys.
Hold on. Okay, so we the 3 songs that I gave Michael were "Becoming the Memory" by Royal Coda, "Chalk Teeth" by Tosca, and "Mouse on the Keys" and "Dark Lights" by Mouse on the Keys. Tell me the ones you did not pick. What?
I said, what document is that on?
Albums and song recommendations.
Okay, I haven't been on that in a little while. I'm leaving that up to you, bro.
What? What do you mean?
I told you I want you to run that page.
Well, duh. I didn't even know you were talking about that. But tell me the ones you did not pick.
Okay, if that's all I had to do to find it, I got it up. Let me look. You wrote it down in that document. Oh, we forgot to get my dad's review of Snarky Puppy. No.
That's fine. But we'll save it for episode 20. Episode 20. It's cool.
Okay. That's a long time since you okay. And by the way, I never watched the music videos from Snarky Puppy.
See, exactly. That is and for that reason alone, we cannot have that conversation because it's one thing to really like the songs because all the songs are really great.
You got it.
Got
it down. Good. All right. So my picks are so I have to pick one of the 3, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which ones did you not like? Or which ones will not be the winner and why?
Oh, okay. First one is "Becoming the Memory" by Royal Coda.
Why did you pick that one?
That one, this is based off of memory. Becoming the Memory. If I remember correctly, I think the leads, it was like pop punk, right?
No.
It just, the lead singer kind of sounded like Claudio from
Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
you don't like Kurt's voice.
I just didn't like that sound, I guess.
Okay, that's simple enough.
But so if I had to choose between these, this was the hard part: Chalk Teeth and Tosca, or Mouse on the Keys. I think you know which one I would probably pick. But
yes, I do.
If you're thinking Mouse on the Keys, then you're right.
Well, that's because you said it earlier, so I already knew. But even if you didn't say it, I expected you to pick that, honestly.
I already told you that I picked that one.
Yeah, you said it a little earlier, but I just ignored it, so I don't want to give it away, you know?
My Becoming the Memory is bad.
Wow. Boo.
All right.
Tell the people why you didn't like Chalk Teeth by Tosca.
I didn't not like it. It's just you had to pick one. I don't know. I don't know. It just, it's kind of, I don't know if this is a good comparison. You know how they say, like, I'm probably getting too far here. Let me just tell you this. So the reason why I did not choose Tosca is because I had to choose Mouse on the Keys.
You liked it a lot much better, huh?
I liked. I want to say that I thought, if I remember correctly, when I was listening to Tosca, I think I heard some elements of like Metallica, like it was the when they get acoustic a little bit like acoustic kind of, like I'm thinking of the song One, not the U2 song. I'm thinking of the Metallica song One from And Justice for All. Um, they kind of break it down a little bit. Even like Master of Puppets, the title track from a Master of Puppets, it kind of had some, I would say, something that my mom would actually like, that part of the song. It's so because my mom would never listen to heavy metal ever, ever. And so it's got that acoustic kind of aspect to it. And I don't take my word for it, but if I remember correctly, I might have been tapping my foot to Tosca, the chalk teeth, whoever.
I'll take your word for it on that.
The song is.
I'll take your word for it.
I might have been jamming a little bit, but it was just I had to pick one, and I don't remember what it was about Dark Lights. I shouldn't really leave homework assignments to the last moment. So next time we have a challenge like this, I will be on my A game.
Good, because round 3 is coming up, and you're
my friend. Yeah, the challenge isn't over. So my friend, I gave you, and I'm reading it from your writing, Exodus by Ferranti Teicher. We'll just say Ferranti and Teicher. I'm sorry if I'm botching you. From the album, it doesn't matter what the album is, but I gave you the song Exodus. Now there's 2 versions, and I texted you a few days. I gave you the wrong version. There's one that sounds really old-timey. That's not the version I wanted you to listen to. I wanted you to listen to the not old-timey sounding version. And it's there. I think there's a movie called Exodus. If we had my dad,
it's from a soundtrack. That's why.
Yeah, if we had my dad on, he would be able to tell me. But I gave you that. I gave you Every Day by Carly Commando. Now, before I tell you the third song, and we should have had my dad on for the third song because he knows this song. But the second song, Every Day by Carly Commando, there is a basketball-esque reference, sort of, because if I remember when I was living in Maryland, when there was an NBA playoffs on, and to advertise for it, for the channel that was broadcasting it, they had this song in the background, Every Day by Carly Commando. So I remember that, and we're doing a basketball-esque thing with March Catrness. So that's why I kind of threw that song in there. But I like that song. It's an instrumental song, and so is Exodus. And the third song is also an instrumental song. Music for a Found Harmonium by Patrick Street. So, my friend, which 2 songs are not making it?
Let me say this first, and we're getting close to like the 1.5 hour point. Just go over it. Who cares? We're having a great conversation.
Yeah,
I want to stay in this space
because I think we still have some other topics on the docket.
We'll save those topics for later. I just want to I don't want to rush I don't want to rush the meat of our show.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to do after. I did want to get to. I briefly talked about this. Access TV. I do want to talk about the top 10. So
save that for later. Honestly, so let's save that for later because then we can because then we can use a full half hour next episode for that.
But you said we can go over.
Yeah, but like I don't want to go that much over. I have to pee.
You have to be somewhere.
I have to pee, literally.
What does that mean? I
I have
don't know
to urinate.
your young lingo.
I have to urinate.
I'm be, you have to pee. Oh, hey, speaking of that, you know what the trend is right now with the COVID-19? They're saying if you're doing a broadcast, what are you wearing any pants? So you want to ask
Oh,
me if I'm wearing any pants? And the episode has gone off the rails officially. Cool. So tell us about your
man.
first songs, Chris.
No, no. I said all that to say you completely didn't tell us why you chose Dark Lights by Mouse and the Keys. And you mentioned
I
that like you
said
may
I
have
didn't
forgotten.
remember
You did?
memory. I don't know. I guess I liked it because it was. I don't remember. Was it soothing? Maybe it was kind. I don't know. I don't think these are the official versions anyway that you sent me.
Oh,
What
that's
was
so right.
mine?
That's so right. I mess. Oh man, I totally was. I was a little more. I was a little liberal with like the versions on YouTube that I sent you.
Okay,
I
tell me
keep
the
forgetting that
liberal.
like I have to forgive. I have to forgive. You have to forgive me for forgetting that you do not stream music
No,
because
I don't.
like
What is that? What I don't even know what that means.
what? Wait,
You
what?
and your lingo.
What do you mean? Come on, that's not even millennial lingo.
This show
Like
has gone off the rails.
no, 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 no. Hush. It's like your father mentioned like however people listen. How like your father mentioned how however people like get access to the music via like illegal downloading, purchasing, physical, digital. Like if you're streaming music in a legal fashion, be it YouTube or Apple Music or Spotify or Google Play or Pandora or Last.fm, Deezer, Stitcher, whatever, like you're streaming. You know what I'm
I
saying?
thought you said okay. I wanted to look up the word liberal. It says favorable to progress or reform, as in political or religious sphere. I just want to know your three songs. That's really all I want to know because I'm really interested. I really like these three songs. And you had told me, I'm trying to get this show back on the tracks. You had told me that there was a clear winner right away, right when you heard these three songs.
Yeah. I only listened to the songs once and I knew which one I wanted to pick.
Right
You
away.
may you may be disappointed by my answer. And because I really want to like bring this home for like people at home who may be listening. Um Dark Lights will make you emotional. Like had I provided you the correct version, you know exactly what I mean. For
And
if you're listening,
I can go back and listen and give you an opinion for the next episode.
yeah, like text me personally, and I'll send you the right version this time. I sent you a live version because I wanted like I'm on YouTube all the time, and like I always want to help artists get their videos up to a certain point. Like if you have like I don't know, maybe like 50,000 likes, 50,000 like views on a video. I want to help you get to like 100,000. If you have like, I don't know, 96 million views on a video, I want to help you hit 100 million views on a video. But that's besides the point. We have Exodus, we have Music for a Found Harmonium, and we have Every Day. I chose Every Day.
Oh, you were
And
supposed to tell me the songs that you didn't want, but that's okay. All right. So why
no,
did
and
you choose
I
Every
didn't
Day?
I didn't I'll tell you I'll give it to you briefly. I didn't choose Exodus or Every Day. I didn't choose Exodus or Found Harmonium, and because I'm not very partial to soundtracks. I maybe have less than five that I love more than off the top. I maybe only like two like film soundtracks off the top, maybe three.
And one of them is the one that we talked about before.
Which
It
one?
has you told me about it. It is called The Prince of Egypt.
Wow, I guess no, I don't include that because like I'm specifically speaking to the music you hear during the film, not songs that are necessarily associated to the film, because a lot of those songs that I care so much about, well, I know Through Heaven's Eyes is one of like the in-film songs. Like, I don't like the entire thing from Prince of Egypt, so that does not count. like films like Inception or The Social Network or the most recent reboot of The Grinch. I love those kind of soundtracks because they're made by people I really respect. Hans Zimmer, Atticus Ross, Trent Reznor, Tyler the Creator. People I really like have a personal connection to musically. So when I listen to like this Exodus song, I have no connection to the film that it's made with. So there's no way for me to like, and I can get that kind of music from anywhere if I really wanted to. So that was already like a loss for me. But with Found Harmonium, I don't really listen to a lot of music from that realm. Like from I forget whether Patrick Street is Irish or they're
Right.
Scott.
Patrick, come on, St. Patrick. Let me tell you about this song.
Okay, do so.
It was in the movie Napoleon Dynamite.
Really? When?
When he has his birthday with the when not Napoleon but his friend.
Pedro.
Yeah. And you know what's the thing with the candy in it that they
The piñata.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that. I haven't seen Napoleon Dynamite in years. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just like I don't have like I don't really listen to a lot of music from that realm. And it was nice. I believe I added that particular song to a friend's playlist on Spotify. So I didn't let the song go to waste. And with Exodus, I sent it to Aramide because I know he loves soundtracks. He loves soundtracks, especially older soundtracks.
Yeah, he talked when he was on the episode. He talked about one with Amy Mann from Till Tuesday.
I didn't really like, and when y'all mentioned that artist, I don't know who the heck that was. So that'll be a fun find to like. That'll be a fun rabbit hole to go down when the time comes. But let's
Fiona Apple. That's how we started it.
Right.
Yeah.
So every day.
Really want to do the top 10 reveal, man. But if you got to
Nope.
you got to do your business. Do your business.
Yeah, and listen, because you want to speak on this so much, take extensive notes about how you feel about this particular program so you can really drive the points home for episode 11. Now, with every day,
Homework.
see exactly, and this is fun, isn't it? Like it'll be worthwhile, like to just like tangibly present your admiration for this program. But with like, I'm digressing. With Every Day by Carly Commando, like the piano, I have a very interesting relationship to the piano. Like, I owned a guitar at one point. I was too lazy to learn how to play it. My mother told me that when I was younger, I should have practiced playing the piano because I have very long digits. But playing the piano is very difficult. But like I mentioned earlier in the episode, I was in chamber singers for 2 years.
Hold on, I want to see your digits. Has anyone ever said that to you? Can I see your digits?
Ha, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah. I have long fingers and whatever. And long arms. So like I could have really been good at the piano if I really tried, but I'm a lazy guy. I'm not gonna lie. So
yeah, we talked about that. We're both lazy.
But like when I think about all the music in my life and what instruments remain to be consistent, like the piano was all over the place. And learning how to sing in like in a choral unit, like what are you going to use to practice more than anything else? The piano. There are points when like different sections of the choir we'd break apart and practice our individual notes and such. And you need a piano to remain consistent. Like I didn't own a pitch pipe. Like I couldn't play anything else. I couldn't read music. I just knew how the songs sounded in my head, and I had to like hear the notes from some sort of like instrument to know how to like measure up. You know what I mean? So like the piano was very consistent in my life. And
we have another family member.
Hey kitty. But when I think about something like Every Day, like that's something I can go to sleep to. I can read a book to every day. I can play video games to it. I feel like the name of the song is very fitting because I can find a space at any point in my like routine to play that song. Like Exodus and Found Harmonium, they're very specific kind of like they give me very specific kind of mood.
I will admit you can't relax to music for Found Harmonium.
I mean, you could if that's really like your bag, but like
It's
that sort of
more
style isn't my bag. You know what I mean?
I want to get up and dance and move around.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, that's definitely that's definitely like the emotion that it gives me. But like I feel with a song like Every Day, like I can relax to it. I can go for a walk, hop on the bicycle. I prefer a song that I can put into any kind of situation. So that is why it's my winner. It's going on my bench. The stage has been set for the final round. So it is your job to pass your three winners to your assistant coaches and let them pick the one they like the most. And we will come back in about maybe a week or so, depending on how busy our jobs make us. And we will end this tournament once and for all. It's been fun. Have you been enjoying doing this particular segment? Because I have. It's been great, honestly.
Yeah, cool. Hearing these different songs. I like that first song that I picked. And what are our plans?
Which one was that again?
Go to 11, and then what? We're going to take a hiatus.
Yeah, we'll finish March Catrness, now April Catrness, and we will stop releasing content to make sure that all 11 of our episodes have an extensive bibliography for every reference we've ever made for the entire show. We will start telling all of our friends and family about the show so they can look back, make suggestions, make requests, and we'll continue.
Do we have time for this? Before we started,
say what?
My dad asked you about promoting. Or do you want to talk about?
Yeah, he sure did. I had a friend who's listened to our show, and she's a very talented artist, and she suggested making us a logo, and I love for that logo. What?
You told me about that. How's that going?
Yeah. And so like her only suggestion that stood out to me was that like perhaps we could consider not showing our faces for an entire episode. And I'd only be willing to do that if we had a really cool logo. And she offered to design it. So even if she decides that she's too busy during like this pandemic to do so, I have several other people I can hire and pay to do that, because being on social media all day, you'll see loads of like talented illustrators who are desperate for work, especially in a time like this. And so maybe I'm like, oh, they can do like I have like this specific picture from one of my older podcasts, Double D's, featuring Dominic Rabun and D Respect, where she'll the two of them like facing one another with microphones in their hand. And I'm like, oh, this would be like a cool homage to them, and to like pay like a really talented person forward to like showcase us in a cool way. Like there's loads of things we can do to promote the show now that we've done this for maybe like 11 times, and hope to do so for maybe like up to 50 times, give or take, God willing. We can discuss that off camera though. Like if there are any listeners who want to help us promote, like every episode, comment on every episode, share every episode.
You and I need to do more Facebook calls.
Facebook calls. Well, that depends on whether
talk more about what's going on here with the show.
Oh, well, like at this point, we have nothing but time given the circumstances. So hit my line. I'm good. I think that about does it for now. We didn't go too far off. We didn't go too far off the rails after all. It's only like what, 1 hour and 38 minutes. I need some water. I need to use the restroom, and I need to hop on a bicycle and shit to this
drink and then go to the bathroom. Okay.
You already know the vibes, my dude. Like, thank you for doing this with me. Yeah, episode 10 done. We've done 10 episodes. We're basically like a TV show at this point.
Yeah.
We're up for an Emmy. Look at that.
I don't know where the time went.
Hey, time is a human construct. That's all I have to say about that. That about does it for me. Like, let's say goodbye to the people, like to everyone listening.
Everybody.
Yeah. Hey, wash your hands. Like, reach out to those who are having a harder time. What?
I said, be safe. Stay home if you need to. I mean, if you have to, unless something essential, like buying groceries or going to the pharmacy or something.
Yeah, let's keep our heads down. Worst case scenario, this is probably gonna last till August. Like, let's just be mindful of one another and press forward. All that
song that you're supposed to do while you wash your hands. Happy birthday to you. Can we end on that?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Thank you so much for listening. This has been the Catr and Kenard podcast. Godspeed. Thank you so much for listening. Say goodbye, Michael.
Go to the bathroom. Bye.
Goodbye. Whew.